The halacha is as follows when it comes to the proper attire for prayer. Meaning, what is a person allowed to be dressed in and not dressed in? We did explain that the basic primary halacha is that in order to say berachot, in order to say any blessings or any words of Torah, all that has to be, the bare minimum, we're talking for a man now, is that they are wearing something which separates between their private parts and their heart, and as well as something covering their head. For all intents and purposes, according to the letter of the law, a person who is wearing a bathing suit or even just underwear and a kippah is allowed to make berachot, allowed to even learn Torah. Specifically, that is the bare minimum requirement. Now, when it comes to prayer, there's this added aspect of omed bifnei hamelech, that a person has to be standing and be fit in the proper attire that he would a king. All the more so, Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, King of all kings. And therefore, for prayer, a person has to be properly dressed. This halacha of being properly dressed is subjective to the society that one lives in. As we've spoken about, here in South Florida, many people only wear, or most oftenly wear, polo shirts, short sleeves, and it's something that people wear to work on a daily basis, even during meetings. It's not something that is considered out of the ordinary. So not all, however, there are many that agree that even in South Florida, where that is the tradition, the way of the people, it would be allowed to pray Amidah, to pray the silent prayer, in short sleeves. Others would say no, you need long sleeves, you need to be properly dressed. That is just the background. When it comes to praying, are you allowed to pray your Amidah in pajamas? Yes. We're obviously not saying that you're coming to the Bet Knesset to pray, but you're at home and you're in your pajamas. Do you need to change or not? The halacha is as follows. If a person is healthy and well, he does need to change out of his pajamas and put on regular clothes. However, if a person is sick or old, or it would be a major inconvenience, basically based on those conditions of either sick or old, they would be allowed to pray in pajamas. What about wearing slippers or sandals, or do you need to be in shoes? It's the same concept. If a person is old or sick and they're at home and it would be an inconvenience to put on shoes, shoes are a requirement. Now, here's the following halakha, and we'll end with this. Is one, according to the letter of the law, right? We just explained, according to the letter of the law, you could pray in pajamas, you could pray in slippers or sandals if it's a certain circumstance. What about praying Amidah barefoot? We all have in our head this concept that we cannot pray barefoot. Is this something that's for real? How severe is it or not? The halacha is as follows, that it is part of the same halachot, if we look in the Shulchan Aruch, of the proper attire for the Bet Knesset, for prayer. Nothing per se having to do with praying like Ishmaelim or not praying like Ishmaelim. Rather, it's more on what is common, what is respectful. If it's common and respectful or normal to be barefoot, then it's not a problem. However, nowadays, we know it's not. We know that you either wear shoes or sandals or slippers or something. So the lashon that the Yalkut Yosef uses, I'll just quote for, he says, En ra'ui li'tpalel tfilat shmona esrei shu yachef. It's not proper. Meaning, imagine if wearing sandals was completely improper, it would be at the same even level. It's all in a matter of what is proper or not. And he brings down that it's a machloket between Tosafot and the Rambam, and the Shulchan Aruch goes like the Rambam that says that it's based on the normal circumstances and attire of the surrounding community that you live in. So halacha l'maaseh, even when one's at home, we don't pray barefoot. Even socks is not enough. We would need to put on shoes ideally, or sandals or slippers, if that would be the only available option. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll have all the tefillot b'kavanah and come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the most respectful manner. Tonight we're